Hi, everyone, and welcome to Voices of Daytime. I'm your host, Tami Goveia, and in studio today, we have been working so hard to get her here, is Patrika Darbo. This woman is a tour de force in the industry, and the fact that we are honored with her time and energy is just, we're so appreciative. Welcome, my love.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It took us a while to get together, didn't it?
It took us a minute, but most things, great things are worth the wait. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm still like going, this is so beautiful of a space.
It's comfy.
It's comfy.
Right?
It's not, you feel very intimate as if, because we usually do this on Zoom, as you know. Yeah. So to be in person first is a blessing, because I think after COVID, we've all kind of just been
hermits and just disconnected.
Well, it is true, because we are totally disconnected. Unless we're Zooming, we can at least see a face, but there's not that energy of being in the room with somebody and really at some point going, I'm going to talk to her now. I'm not going to talk to you.
Well, it's like auditioning, right? It's rare now to get an in-person audition, and it just changes the game. I love in-person auditions.
They're the best, because as actresses and actors, it's here. It's listening and here. We relate to one another, but a camera can't give us that back. And if the actor who's reading with us is not an actor all the time, it changes it for us and stuff. Being in the room, you get to relate with the writers and who can see your personality, and this will be a better, because she'll fit with that kind of thing, or he'll fit with this. I don't want to exclude the men. So anyway, but yeah, it's so nice to be personable, to be in person.
When I was thinking about our conversation, I thought, this gal's been interviewed hundreds of times and been asked the same questions hundreds of times. And I thought, have you heard of the Proust questionnaire?
The who?
The Proust questionnaire.
Obviously, who?
Okay,
no.
So this was an actual parlor game back in the Victorian age. It's like 35 questions. And back then, it's like, when they answer these questions, you'll be able to get a real read on who this person really is.
Oh, my God.
So I thought, I'm going to ask you some questions and figure out who you really are.
This is terrifying, everyone. I'm prepared to talk about me. This is terrifying.
This is so fun. Okay. What is your idea of perfect happiness?
I think for me, I think being kind is one of being perfect. When you're kind and you get it back. And perfect happiness would be the fact that I am a still working actress. I am still a happily married woman for 52 years coming up.
Congratulations.
And even though my husband is now suffering from Alzheimer's, the fact he gets up every morning and still remembers who I am, that's the perfect moment of happiness.
How long have you been in that situation with him?
Just since 2020, just as COVID started. Yeah, so it's hard.
But I'm sure you have a support group.
I have a great support
group. A village, right?
One person sitting behind me right this moment, Anthony, who is my PR person, but also my best friend, and the executive of my state should something happen. And I'm a clutterbug, and he's not, so it's going to be very interesting when I decide to leave this earth.
What is your greatest fear?
Fire.
Why?
I've been burnt by an iron at times, and burning yourself, just your finger hurts like a terrible thing. I mean, it's awful. And then I've been working with Operation Mend, which is from the Thalians. It's out of UCLA, and it takes care of our returning veterans. I think I get a little emotional here, who leave this way perfect, but come back with no noses, burnt, and low self-esteem. So, and I've been burnt, but nothing like this. And my biggest fear is that. But I just went through fireman training, which is a CERTS program, which is the neighborhood getting together and learning how to do rescue, help the firemen and do things like that. Working the hose and going in, doing triage and stuff. but I don't know how brave they're so brave, because I don't know if I could go into that building, because a couple of times they had us go where fire and we had to put it out. And so yes, being burned and fire, seeing my house go up, and I can't imagine the horror that the people have gone through here in California.
Yeah. The Thalian, what was the name of the organization?
The Thalians is an organization supporting our veterans. The Thalians was started by Debbie Reynolds and Jane Mansfield. And there's another lady, I'm forgetting her name right this moment. Currently, Ruta Lee is our emeritus person who handles all of it. Frank Sheftel is our president. And we raise monies to give to Operation Men so we can continue to helping the vets that come back here.
God bless you guys.
Thank you.
It's an amazing endeavor.
Thank you.
To support such a very special group of men and women. It'll get me all emotional. Okay, what is the trait you most deplore in yourself?
Being a clutterbug, I think sometimes.
A clutterbug? Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I just like doing this. It's like Anthony right now is probably having anxiety with all the things over there because he's not a tchotchke person or anything. His house is pristine, very, I don't want to say sterile because you always feel welcome there, but he doesn't have things like this. When it comes to my house, there could be a bra on the back of the chair that there'd be laundry over this.
Did you grow up that way?
I think it's a lot of rebellion because my mother's best friend, when my mother was very sick when we were kids, and my aunt came to live with us, and she was out of the Navy, white gloves, you didn't dust well here kind of person. And now I think it's that kind of rebellion. And I think sometimes my impatience with people, it's like, you see this, the neighborhood watch. Can anybody tell me why that poor dog is tied up to the post? Well, don't be asking 40 million people. Call the ASPC, get somebody over there, get that. It's right. Like that kind of stuff makes me crazy. Like, don't be hashing something out here. Take care of the problem.
It seems too nowadays it's a little more challenging to be patient.
It is. I mean, I've learned more being with my husband now with Alzheimer's because he asks me the same thing over and over and over and over again. Or I'll find things like he likes to open and put away everything in the dishwasher. But usually I find things on the cupboard because he gets where he can't remember exactly where they go. And so I know it's not his fault. So sometimes I have to really go and come back like this. Yeah.
I totally get that. As we get older, our parents or sometimes our spouses, we take on the role of the caretaker.
It is. And it's a little tough sometimes because I am involved in other things and have places to go and things. So I am now calling different care places to see if I can have somebody hourly or, by the week or something, should I have a job out of town or things like that. I would ask him to go with me and take him with me. That would be something I would, pay for myself to have him come and stay. But we have a little dog who's hell on wheels. So I have basically 2 children at home. So
those little fur babies, they don't grow up and move out.
They're fur babies. And she's a little Chihuahua mix who thinks if something down on Hollywood Way by the ocean just decides to move or something, she's going to bark at it.
Yes.
At 2:00 in the morning, she's going to bark. So it's crazy.
She's doing her job.
Yes.
What is a trait you most deplore in others?
The lack of kindness, the lack of respect, and the lack of courtesy.
So this kindness concept, why is that so important to you?
Because I think we'd be in a better space if people were just kind enough to other people and respecting that they have other things going on. And, none of us are perfect. And sometimes we have to realize that this person may have had I'm not going to swear, I'll say crappy day, or something just happened that was there. But when you see these things or something happens, be kind, offer help, be respectful of whatever they may be going through. And for me, I've always been an overweight person, even through school, name called a lot, bullied. And now I can say to them, and it's very interesting. I along those same lines for myself, talking about that, being kind is, we are constantly encouraging sports. But if I hadn't had the theater music program, I would be lost. In that situation, everyone was accepted. Whether you might be in a wheelchair, whether you might, be Hispanic or black or whatever, overweight, underweight, it was a welcoming, safe place. And that kind of thing, everybody was kind to one another. Everybody kind of realized what the perils each other of us was going through.
There was a kinship, or there is a kinship.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then you have the sports where people out there hitting each other and doing all kinds of stuff like that. But again, it's money talks and kindness goes out the window. So.
Well, then that just means that if that's important to you, if that's important to other people, you connect with one another and you just roll that out.
Well, I think sometimes we get caught up in, when I went on the soap, which we weren't really going to talk about on Days of Our Lives, I thought I was going on to serve beer and peanuts. And then I suddenly go there and I get, this is your husband. And I was like, oh my God, they don't know who I am. And I told my makeup lady the first day I was shooting, I said, Nina, I don't think they know, I still don't think they know who I am. And I said, any minute now, Pruger's going to call and have me go upstairs and go, we're sorry, we made a mistake. And not 5 seconds later.
What is that syndrome called? Where you're afraid you're going to get found out that you're an imposter.
I'm not really sure, but I just was like, I'd been in the business a long time. I was an overweight actress. You're too heavy to be in the soap opera. One lady was size 0. I was like, I know I'm in the wrong place. Not 5 minutes after I said that to my makeup lady, I get a phone call. Please report, or over the intercom comes Patrika Darbo, please report upstairs. So Nina dropped her pencil at that point, and I was like, told you. And I went upstairs, and what they did was welcome me to the family.
That must have been an emotional.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't have the mascara on at that point. Anyway, but yeah, I think we are so ingrained in what people look like instead of who they are. We're judging that book by the cover, and that we shouldn't do. So be kind to people because you don't know what's going on behind that cover.
Well, you wrote that book.
I think so.
Yeah, you did.
I truly did. And I respect, I can't tell you how many fans have become friends because we commiserate at times. I answer fan mail when it comes still, if it gets to me, because sometimes it takes them a while to find me, or they go, this is for Patrika, where is she? Like this, and then it comes to me. But I try to answer everything if I get it. It's just my nature to, I think because of the things that happened to me, to be more respectful and more kind to other people. I don't judge that book by the cover.
Well, you mentioned Days. We'll definitely get to that. There's fun stuff to talk about there. What is your greatest extravagance?
Shoes.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. I have too many shoes, and I keep finding boxes going, when the hell did I order this?
So seriously, these guys here, I don't know if you can see them on camera. Okay. So, and I texted my girlfriend, Minerva. I met her in kindergarten, and I brought these shoes. I haven't worn these in probably 10 or 15 years, but my mom bought them for me over 30 years ago.
Everything old
over
is new
30
again,
years
right?
ago.
Yes,
and my girlfriend said, "Oh, they're going to bring you luck. You're going to have such a good time today." But yeah, shoes are a thing.
They definitely are. And the ones I'm wearing right now are air soles. This is a commercial.
I love the heels, air soles.
And please
rocks.
notice that I do not have any bend in my foot. They are so high, but they're so comfortable. And he's always terrified this old lady's going to fall off of them. But
you're
they're
not.
great.
I love the clunky heel. When it came
Yes.
back in fashion, it was like, yes.
Well, because those start to hurt too, and when your foot's up on your toe, especially if you're a little heavier, is not a good thing. These, I'm just comfortable. Wear them all day, and so it's no problem.
Love them.
I have assorted colors.
Well, you should, because they disappear.
They do.
And then you say, what?
What happened?
Yeah, I wish I'd bought every color.
Shoes is my extravagance, yes.
What is your current state of mind?
Anxious because, well, first of all, it is the Memorial Day weekend.
I always get that confused because usually it's the last weekend in May. Is it?
This is.
Is it? See, I thought it'd be the 31st
crazy.
or
It's
something.
crazy. Memorial Day is Monday. But everybody's leaving town right this moment. And so coming from Burbank to Hollywood, it's like, and we were talking about a friend before we started here about driving disconnected. People are like, what are you doing? Give a signal. Slam on the brakes. And he got in my car a minute ago. Everything from my purse had spilled out because I'd had to slam on the brakes for somebody that didn't pay attention. So that has calmed me down a little bit right this moment being here. This is so pretty and you're a doll as always. So it's I'm being less anxious now, but the anxiety of that.
Well, now when you come over the hill again to sit down again, you know where we are, you know the drive, you know what to expect. It's always that first time you go somewhere that you haven't been before that seems like it takes an hour.
Yeah, and I was also brought up that you arrive 5 minutes early. You're never late. And then when we work in theater or we work in front of the camera, you better be there 5 minutes early. Yeah. So I get crazy. And I'm always the first one to arrive. And my darling Anthony Turk goes, you do not want to come here the first. So, sit in the parking lot. So anyway, so that it just makes me anxious to be late or with people that are crazy around, that I have no control over.
You have no control over.
I think it's, I'm not total control freak, but at certain things I do want to have it.
Yeah. It's called being human. What do you consider the most overrated virtue? That's an interesting question. The most overrated virtue.
Golly, I'm not even sure if I can answer because I'm not sure. Being married, I guess, is an overrated virtue. I mean, it's like I grew up because of my age. I grew up where my dad said that the best birth control is an aspirin between your knees, and you keep it there all night long until you're home with your family, kind of thing. I mean, and then you get married. And then everything's okay, but you have no experience. But I think now there's a freedom since the 60s. Fight for the birth control bill. Come on, no bra, let's go. Anyway, it's that kind of thing. I think we've overrated marriage, and now because it's a frivolous thing too, is people get married and then go, oh, I'm tired of this, I'm divorced. So I'm not sure exactly why I feel that way about it. I do know that my grandmother was born in 1897. She got married when she was 20, I think. And, but everything's propriety. I mean, she was a suffragette and kind of things like that. Oh. And then so it was that time where women, got married because you basically had to because you were chattel, which they're going back to right this moment. That'll be another thing, but I won't go into politics right this minute.
Lower the anxiety. Keeping the anxiety low.
It's like I'm married 55 years, and now we're going through the good, love, honor, and there was no obey in there, so because that's not happening. But at my grandmother's time, that was. But I value my marriage and what we have. I value the fact that we've been married as long as we have, but now we're going through in sickness and in health. Yeah. So, and I think even Jay Leno said something recently because he's been taking care of his wife Mavis, who has Alzheimer's also. And this is the worst part. But somebody, because they can't buy a new hat, decide it's divorce time. I mean, it's marriage is not a 50-50. Marriage is a 100-100 because if either one of you have to give up half of yourself, then you're entering into something that's not going to last.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember it was a book by D.H. Lawrence. I don't know if it was Lady Chatterley's Lover or Women in Love. It was about two sisters. And the younger sister just couldn't wait to get married. She was just so excited she couldn't wait. And the older sister was like, honey, why? She goes, why don't you? And the younger one said, why don't you want to get married? Why? And she said, you know what? I would get married for the experience of it. And when I read that, it shocked me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And it's even, I think there's more freedom for women and men now because people can live together and decide if they want to go further and get married and become, I hate to say one because that's not what I feel. I feel you become whole two. And when there's two of you in the same space, fighting for the same things and honoring the same things, then you have a much stronger relationship. So
I think people are waiting longer too to get married.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there was an interesting report on 60 Minutes recently about freezing your eggs. Young girls going in at 20s to freeze your eggs so that in the future when they get ready to have children, they don't have to worry about getting older and not being able to produce as many weeks.
It's so stressful.
And the report went on to say that as females, the minute we are conceived, we start losing our eggs.
The time clock?
That time clock. Yeah. So freeze your eggs if you want to have children later, or do it now. I mean, but make sure you're both on the same page.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot tougher now because of the costs of childcare. Just those, who's going to work, who's not going to work, who's going to be available when that child is now 5 and taking ballet lessons, who can do that, So it's, it's a tough time, but I think it's marriage right this moment and how our society is going. And do we need it? Girl power, yeah. We're still, paid less as women and stuff like that, so you need to find someone who agrees and is a spouse, and again, you come in as two whole people and your future is kind of going to be better.
I know when I read that question, most overrated virtue, actually the first thing I thought of was being a martyr, or that sense of sacrificing yourself for other people.
And I think that falls into marriage, but I guess it's probably the same thing for me too.
Yeah,
it's like,
as a daughter, as a wife, that's put on the woman for the most part. Yes?
I absolutely. And that's why I think that if somebody's fooling around and there's pregnancy, that person's in charge too. You get that money up. That's yours. Yeah. You did it. I think that's probably part of in our government at this point is that they're now banning things, not allowing women to do things that could kill them. And they want that baby born. But then they're going to cancel school lunches. They're going to cancel all these things to take care of that child. So it's not good, just not good. And I disagree with them wholeheartedly that child should be taken care of. And when we're talking about ending Medicaid and affordable care, when those things are on the cutting board right now, I don't think enough people realize that that's where they get it. They think it's Obamacare, and that's what they're getting rid of. And no, you're getting rid of affordable care, which is feeding your child at school, which is giving you medical attention for yourself and your child. So anyway.
This kind of advocacy that you come from, is that something you've always been?
I again, at being an overweight child, I decided to be a part of it. I decorated the gym. I did cookies for the gym. So I had that going on with everybody around me, but I wasn't invited to the gym, to the prom. And it was a time where girls didn't go single. There was no stag line for girls, mostly. And so I do get involved that way. It keeps me involved to do other things and stuff. I'm part of the group. But I'm product of the 60s growing up and, on both sides of that. So, yes, I want the birth control. I want to be able to not wear a bra if I want to.
The freedom.
I came to California in 1973. If you went to work as a woman, you must have an extra pair of pantyhose or a hose in your drawer in case you got to run. You must always have a dress on. Wipe your shoes out at night with alcohol so you don't offend anybody. All these kind of things. That wasn't until 1973 that pants suits were allowed for women to wear to work. You couldn't get a credit card in your own name.
That's just...
and I don't think people realize it. And we are headed back the same way. A lot of the rights we fought for are now being taken away again. So women, you get out there and vote and guard yourself. Be looking out for what's really happening.
And practice kindness along the way.
Absolutely.
Because again, Patrika, it's tough. I think overrated virtues, I think it's patience. I get, it's tough to be patient right now.
Very much so. But again, if you become too patient, things happen and you're out.
Exactly.
You can be patient saying, and fight for your rights, fight for the things that are going on. When a woman has an atopical pregnancy and she has to keep that kid and can't have an abortion to get that out of there, and she could die and the baby will die too. Frankly, for me, it's not a baby until it's out your bottom. So, anyway, I'm really being very political here. Yeah,
I don't call it politics. I call it, a point of view. And this is, my mom always used to say, to each their own.
Excuse me?
To each their own.
Yes.
Right?
Well, you can't, there are certain minds you can't change.
No, you can't.
But at the same time.
But you have to live your truth.
I have to live my truth,
Yes.
and I have to inform you.
Yes.
I think, whatever you want to do, but please look at this statistic. This many women died for no reason. These children died of starvation right here in our own country. That's, not what I signed up for. No. And people who work hard and their Social Security is now in jeopardy. Their Medicare is now in jeopardy. Really? First of all, Social Security was a loan. We just loaned it to you. It's our money. You promised it was our money. Do you know that the Senate and the Congress have robbed Social Security and never paid back their loans? Come on, Mr. President. Let's have the Congress that loaned it to somebody else pay it back into Social Security, and we'll be floating good.
It's important to have these conversations and go in with the mindset of not trying to change someone's mind.
Just inform them of everything.
And I think,
and we are in an industry called the media. And on one station says one thing, on one station says another thing.
Too many conversations going on at once.
If you want to kind of figure out what's going on, watch the BBC.
I love the BBC.
The BBC is going to tell you, we're looking at this going, So I think there you're not having the Republic news and the Democrat news. You go there and you're getting the actual news of what's going on and how things are affecting the world.
It's a worldview.
It is.
Yeah, exactly. This is good. On what occasion do you lie?
I guess the best thing to say is, and I don't think it's a total lie because I kind of preface it along the way, but it's sometimes when you go, perhaps that's not the right outfit for you to be wearing, or that's not a good color on you, or
sugar-coated a little bit.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to. I don't deliberately lie unless I feel that it would hurt the person terribly.
By telling the
or
truth?
the situation, telling the truth would. That's why, like I said, sometimes you have to go, you look better in blue than you do in fuchsia, that kind of thing. I mean, no, that's not, no, that's not good. That's not a good color. But you know what? It fits you well. It looks nice. That's the kind of lying I think I'm going to do that I'm not going to.
I'm going to have to agree with you.
I don't know who I can't see who that person.
Look what the cat drug in.
It's Dr. Craig Wesley.
Oh my God! you evil shit!
You can't go anywhere. You can't go anywhere.
Come over here and press my lips.
I hear music and there's no one there. And we did this every year. But this year, we pre-taped it, so she's on the TV set. And she's supposed to duck. I'm supposed to duck behind her. I went behind the TV set. And then you start talking. That wasn't too bad. And I said, shut up. And I turned
and he
her
turned
off.
me off. Just turned the
Biggest
TV
laugh
off on
ever.
me like this. Oh my God. We had so much fun. I mean, I adore him. So he's a pain in the ass at times, like most husbands.
That's what I hear from just about everyone.
He is.
It's a good pain, though.
It's amazing.
Well, this was a perfect segue into the Wesleys and into Days and into a super couple that who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Like as you mentioned, your first day on set.
It is the first day on
someone
set.
made a
The first
mistake.
day on
What am I
set,
doing
and
here?
that's when Steve Wyman called me upstairs going, we just want to welcome you to the family and stuff like this. And I was like apoplectic at that point. So anyway, and then what the first run we had was 8 years. 9 years, and then
Just under 8.
and then both
So
of us
had
back
you
and forth.
known each other beforehand?
No, but we did something really. We knew of each other.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
And
we
Del
did.
sure as heck.
And when we first were going to go on, we met together and worked our lines out together. And a couple of times people would say, "Do they have the same writers and stuff like that?" But because we were a little.
We were off.
Listen, honey, we
Go
couldn't
ahead.
keep our hands.
Improvisational, or-
Well, we couldn't keep our hands off each other. No matter what happened, we were always in the scene. I practically had my hands down his pants. I was doing him on his desk and everything else, and we had the best time.
There was
And
one night I said, this line just calls for me to grab you, and she said, "Yeah, right." And I did it, and you know that squeal you make.
yes, that.
And cut. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. And so it kept in it, so it went on and on like that. So we had a great rapport on. And the first time that we were there, we were very much in trying to destroy Mike Horton, which was Rourke Critchlow, and because he wanted to be the chief of staff, and Rourke was up for chief of staff, and we were this new
my
family.
God, for 3 months, every day was, "I'm going to be the chief of staff," and I, that's how I felt, and then he turns it down because he wanted to leave the show, and they wouldn't let me do it during taping, but during dress rehearsal, I planned this
Oh my God!
I'll send it to you. It's called
Okay.
the Critchlow Kiss Off because they were doing Snap, and then Rourke is going, that camera, and he's doing this whole monologue, and he goes, "I just can't accept it," and I went, and I went all around the set. I jumped up on the board table, and I did a back handspring.
You
And
did
then-
not.
I did.
Like literally?
Yeah, and then
Oh,
I
yeah.
jumped off, and I pulled the drawer open and put Mickey Mouse ears on and said COS, Chief of Staff. And it was a really fun
It was
scene.
fun.
Just
We
out
did
of
wacky
control.
stuff like that. I mean, we were traveling across the country. We ended up in a jailhouse, and then we were like in dumpsters.
What are you talking about?
The storyline.
When the
Storyline
storyline was
was
going
Okay,
on,
okay.
when we were doing stuff, but we basically were working with Lisa Lindy.
Lisa Lindy, and there was one more person. Saint, the comedy guy who was just like Paul Saint something. One of this, like stand up, tall, sexy, good looking, but he was like this nutball. You remember?
I'm trying to remember who you're talking
He
about.
played the cop. He played the guard.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. It was bad guy in
We just
just
got more
anyway.
and more involved with the crazy and the knee jerk because they just really wrote for us after.
I mean,
But had
they
you
gave
done-
us great stuff. I mean, I had a breast cancer story. He had a great thing when I was dying because we'd had a second child to save, not to save the first child, but in hopes that there would be bone marrow to save because we didn't
It was to
have
save
it.
the child.
And it was basically to save one child, but
Yeah.
joyously to have another child together.
And through that, I found out that I was.
And then he found out he was the father of Chloe, and through a whole through a bad rape thing that went on, and anyway, so all of that. But
We were
I
lucky to have people who liked us, and we knew as outside friends because that was sort of not looked upon as something okay to have outside the set.
Yeah,
But
we
Paul-
did a lot of fun stuff together, and like I said, our fan events were always an amazing event.
Rambunctious,
Crazy
to say the
stuff.
least.
Crazy.
Had you done soaps before, Days?
I had served peanuts. I had been makeup artist. I had, those kind of things. Here's your peanuts. You want beer or
Here's your what?
Right.
Peanuts. Don't be nice. Be nice.
Is this a family show?
See, that's what
I knew
see,
you were
that's-
going to say
Is this
that.
an MA rating? Does this have an MA rating? Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's like we could get political again if I want to. If I want to at this point,
What'd you talk
daytime TV has got. I always said to them like this: you could shoot my breasts. I don't care. I'll go topless. If you shoot the back of my arm, I will kill each
I will
and every
shoot
one
you.
of you.
Yeah,
I
I
will
will
shoot
shoot
you.
you.
I
She
will-
would. She would be
I
like-
would kill you. So I mean,
That's when Deidre Hall looked at you and went, "Oh, she is funny." I remember.
anyway, we had great things like that. And my first love scene with him, I'm in there and I'm like going, my brain is going, I am rubbing my husband's chest.
Oh.
He has little hairs here. This is very nice. And then I hear, Patrika, it's your line. I was totally out of it
And
like
then I
that.
grabbed her and I pulled her over me, and she just went, "Whoa!" And we fell off the bed.
Yes,
and they
we just had fun together.
I'm gonna have to find those squeal moments.
Oh,
we were the non-conventional couple, the number one non-conventional couple of daytime that you.
Who was the head writer back then?
Well,
We had several.
Oh, okay.
Tom Langan, who brought me onto the show. And we were only supposed to be there for just a short time, just to do this little bit with Rourke. And but the first day we aired as a couple, him smooching me smooching him, and being this big girl, it was like the phone blew up and we had 3-year contracts that first day we aired.
So what do you mean the phone blew up?
Well,
fans?
Phones blew up.
Yeah, they didn't. Well, we were on how many months later? Like 4 months later. It wasn't live. So
No, it wasn't live, but we were only 3 weeks ahead at that point when we first started on that show.
They weren't 8 months
Remember,
ahead.
because we'd go, this day we're going, we went, we had a good time, and then the next day would start. It was a lot of the same script, repeated date, because that they've kept people kept up. They could keep up.
That's right. We also had, I was on for 2 days I had a wife, actually. I had a wife.
You did. You had one. You talked about it.
At
the convention.
She met me at the convention, and I went on the first day, and Fran Bascom, the casting director, calls me up, and she goes, Kevin, it's like 10:30 at night. And I was there to, play Eddie Haskell to Mike, Mike Horton.
Yes.
And I was just nagging him.
That's a Leave It to Beaver reference.
Oh, yes.
by the
Hello,
way,
folks.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing us, so we can talk to it. And then she says, Kevin, I just got off the phone with the producer. I went, yeah. She goes, he never calls me. What did you do on the set today? That's how Fran had, set it up. I said, I thought I said my lines and didn't hit the furniture. And she said, no, he loved you. Go back tomorrow and do the same thing. Oh, okay. And I remember that first day going onto the set going, this is a nice wall and a nice counter. This could be my office. Like, I just remember coming to that place going, this feels good. And then 8 months later, they called me back and said, Fran calls me back and she says, they want to bring you on for a 3-year contract. Who does? I didn't remember which show. So that's how it started. And I didn't have a wife at that point.
No. And then when I came on, I just came on as a day player. I did not have, and I was just there for a certain amount of time. And I think at this point they were just going to have the whole CEO thing go on there without the wife being around.
It was just crazy.
But then I had the contract after the first time we aired on thing.
That's right. And she also became one of television's 16 sexiest stars.
I'm telling you.
I was going, what?
Patrika, you truly have a career that a lot of actresses would just...
I've been very blessed, and I'm being blessed, saying that blessed, it's not just an outside force. I worked hard.
She works hard.
I worked hard, as all performers do. You're a performer. Kevin, of course, is a performer. We work hard. It doesn't come overnight. And I think we find it sometimes when people get it overnight, disrespect it. I mean, I think some of the kids that came onto our show when we had adults, suddenly they're working every day, and when
the money's coming in.
And the money's coming in. So suddenly they're buying a condo and they're buying a Range Rover. And all of a sudden, and now it's wintertime, kids go to school, so they don't have now they're like, holy crap, this kind of thing. And being a daytime performer, you're locked in.
Yeah.
You can't go do something else.
Well, you can.
If you have a space.
You have to really be given the opportunity way in advance. And she and I both experienced the way in advance and then say, no, you can't go. And that was kind of
it was also vacations. It was suddenly we'd book a vacation and they would go, no, you're going to be heavy storyline. You have to cancel that.
Right.
And you go, there go your airline ticket, everything. So it's a little different in daytime than it is in prime time.
For sure.
And
in so many millions of ways.
Yeah. And we don't have, they may have started with teleprompters, but
by the time we left, no teleprompters, no cue cards.
Yeah.
And
by the time we started, because I never saw a cue card except for the one older lady.
They had it for
Alice. Alice was
Lauren Coslow.
Yeah, but there were never
So
any
they
on
literally
ours.
had someone, sorry, with the cue cards.
That started for Alice. They'd have them right by
Yeah,
where she
oh my
could
gosh.
right by the camera, so she could virtually look at the camera and deliver her line as if she
Right.
was talking to somebody.
We had some fun. We had
A lot of fun. It was for me. It was an experience that is still going on.
Lucky you.
Well,
No.
I haven't been back since him either. But I mean, I came on because our new daughter Joy was introduced.
Yes.
That we had. They're blaming me because he's run off and been gay someplace.
Well,
Leave me alone.
I blame you for being gay. Why not? It's her blame. No.
Anyway, so so we're talking to our new daughter, and she's still accusing us of having her for only one reason, and we're going, we love you just as much. It was a blessing that you could save your sister, but we love you.
Right.
This isn't she's the favorite. This isn't that going on.
Yeah, you
And then
had
I
more of
said,
that
and then
story.
I go, and 3 days later I'm going, I've got to get back to New York, where now I'm having a thing with the guy that we drove nuts with, Rourke Critchlow, who's now in New York with us. Anyway, just after I've been trying to marry a crazy murderer.
Oh my God!
My husband's been gay. I mean, it's like, it was crazy. And we were still on network when the last time I was here. No.
Oh, no, Peacock.
No,
Peacock.
I went to Peacock.
When I came out, Storyline happened. We were on Peacock. All right, we shot it while we were on
We
prime
hadn't
time.
quite- I don't think-
we shot it while we were on
Prime
prime. I mean,
time.
daytime,
Daytime.
and then network, and then by the time we aired,
It was on Peacock. So, and now they're trying to get back. They're 9 months ahead. You can't fix a storyline 9 months ahead. The new head writer was a head writer before who was very good friends with us and stuff. We love and adore her. But Paula aged right in front of our eyes. I mean, she crazy woman trying to be with her partner, who I apologize, I can't remember your name right this moment. They
the new one.
Yeah, the new one. I can't think of who the new.
She's Broderick or something. I
Yes,
think.
she lives in New York, and they're back and forth on the phone or going to, anyway.
A head writer job is
Yeah,
outrageously crazy.
Manic.
yeah.
I can only
And
imagine.
they're trying to do new stuff, but not confuse everybody here. I recently heard that they may shut down for a while and revamp to catch up and do stuff, and it could possibly go back to NBC.
Oh my God, you have the dish.
So, I mean, I read the soap opera magazines and stuff. What is wrong with you?
I read
we
the
are
script.
friends.
I read the scripts when they're given to
He
me.
goes to script. My line. My line.
What happened the day I turned 40?
Oh, was that last
He
week?
couldn't see.
So it's my birthday on my 40th birthday, and we're on set. And she's sitting in the makeup chair, and she's looking at me through the mirror, and I go, oh, 40 years old? Wait, yeah, 40 years old. And she goes, oh, there it goes. It's going to happen, right? You can't mark my words. What are you talking about? The eyes, they go, 40. I swear to God, the next day I was like,
It's like, I hope I
she
didn't
like
do
put
it.
a
She had
hex
a
on
little
me.
doll at home. And
I mean, it's fun. I mean, I remember coming on there, and I'm come from the stage. If you're having a rehearsal, you rehearse. So I'm supposed to. We're running from whatever we're running from. We have to jump out of a window, and during the rehearsal, I jumped out of the window, and everybody was like, "Oh!"
Yeah, there's no mat. There's no mat at the
There was a
time.
mat there, but it wasn't battened down, and there was nobody there to help you. But I just went through the window.
Oh, my God.
I was supposed to, and it was apoplectic. People were going,
It was.
"You're not supposed to do that." Anyway, and then later, sometime we were supposed to be hanging from a window, and the window was like, I'm hanging up there at the arch of this here, and I'm going. They going. We're going to just lower it, make it over here so it does. I said, I'll hang from that. Just put it up there. I'm not going to be there long, right? So I can hang
my
there.
God.
So I'm hanging out the window on
Long time.
on the thing like this, and waving my legs back and forth, going, "Somebody help me!" like this. And I mean, we did all kinds of crazy things, and we were willing to do those kind of things. I think it got me a job on Growing Pains years ago, just going in and doing the things that one lady had gotten let go because she wouldn't
didn't
try
want to do it.
Yeah. So
That's the hard part that you work hard at, because Patrika does it. A Drake did it all the time. You say yes to the experience coming at you. You don't. Well, I don't think that I don't give an opinion about. No. Yes. Okay.
I just go. I mean,
some of the best moments.
We were in a Dipsy dumpster with trash all over us at a couple points, ducking and lowering leads and all kinds of stuff. And
what's her name? Lisa had a voodoo doll.
Oh my God. We drove this nurse crazy because she was obsessed with Rourke. And she ended up with she had like a voodoo doll. And she's like this, and her lipstick is smeared. And she's got him tied up trying to kill him. I mean, it was unbelievable, but so much fun. And we still have fans who go remember some of this and talk to us about it all the time.
You guys have no idea. The fan base is strong. It's still really
Daytime
strong.
are some of the best, most loyal fans you will ever meet. It's
crazy. Unbelievable. The power of television.
We used to travel more to events, and I remember him doing baseball. He was doing backflips. I was experiencing food poisoning and didn't know it at the time, but that was another whole thing. But we go through airports now. My name is Patrika, but people be yelling, Nancy,
Yep.
and I'd still be strolling along, and it'd be like, then suddenly I went, oh my God, they're talking to me. And I'm going, I need to go back and tell this. He's going, we got to catch a plane.
Right.
And so
this
I got
is
more.
before 9/11 too.
Yeah.
And what was her name?
Krista Allen.
Oh my God.
We were going to South Carolina to play baseball and do a big fan event.
We all left.
It was the night.
Wedding.
It was the night of a marriage, and all the kids are sitting on their knees. We come back, and everybody's now 16. But but that was
I was too.
That was the what they call the kids growing up overnight. I can't remember but anyway, we are in South Carolina for this event, which was wonderful, meeting a lot of people, and I got food poisoning. Krista Allen. Now we're going to the airport, but the wedding going on, so we had
were
to,
filming a wedding.
They had to cancel because it was so late. It was like midnight, and our plane was at midnight, and then they had to get us rescheduled to get there and stuff. Anyway, and remember, Julianne, there was only 5 seats in first class, and so she said, "I'll sit in the back. I don't mind. I'll read my little book, and nobody will know who the hell I am." And blah blah blah.
Julianne.
But when we got there to check in, I had said to Krista, I said, I hope you have your stuff, because Jakey, her son, had her purse out and all her wallet and everything gone. We get there to the thing, she has to check in with a picture. You have to have a picture.
No
now, this
idea.
is not 9/11, but you have to have identification.
So we're saying, no, this is the girl. We work with her all the time. Look, this is her in the fan magazine.
Yeah.
And they said,
no,
okay.
but till she pulled out an Inquirer.
Right. Oh, that's right. The
Then
Inquirer.
she pulled out the Inquirer that had
remembers it
pictures
all.
of
Here's my
her
ID.
and her name. That's how she got on and off the planes.
I pulled out a mugshot.
Really, there you go.
It's like crazy.
I'm going to get you a baseball cap that says hashtag I need my melody.
No,
It's so
hashtag
true.
melody only.
Yes,
there
there
you
you
go.
go. That's it.
One of the things, you have a Primetime Emmy. You were nominated and won for a Daytime, but there's a whole big story.
I have 2 Emmy wins, and I have I've had 4 nominations. The Daytime win was for short form. I'm the first
Right.
actress to win it. The Daytime was the producers submitted as a guest. Or I don't even know how they met.
Outstanding guest artist.
Outstanding
for the
guest
Bay.
star
Yes?
for the Bay.
Yeah.
So everything's going on fine. And I'm in Canada filming a Christmas movie with dogs and children, and they come and say, "You just won the Emmy." I'm saying, "Oh, that's wonderful!" And somebody accepted for me. I'm sure she's filming. We thank you. Blah blah blah. Now it has to be a month later. I get a call, and they say, "You were submitted wrong. We're going to have to take the Emmy." And I'm going,
You
"Wait
got a
a
call
second."
from
we're
the
going
television.
to rescind.
Rescind the
From the
whatever.
Television Academy?
Well, basically, they were going to take back my Emmy that I won. I was voted for. The people voted for me
Of our peer group.
of our peer group, of always the performers. But the thing that happened was rules had changed or something. You couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. But the submission had gone in. The submission's there like 2 or 3 months before,
And they didn't vet it. Yeah.
and they didn't vet it properly. So then they said, we're taking your Emmy, rescinding your Emmy. Thank you. See, that's not a good marriage when he corrects me like this.
Especially
I
in
was
public.
uplifting you. I was still this
public.
water.
Okay. You want my water?
May I have it?
Oh, wait, let me get my boob out of the way.
Oops.
There we go. Oh my God, I've just disrupted everything. Okay, I hope that's still okay. I'll try to.
We good, Joelle? Sounds good. All right.
Okay, thank you, honey.
So,
Where was I before you
rescinding.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, so they just decided to take them back, and then they said that
was 5
Miss
people.
Bassie was going to get it.
Wait. 5 people in the category.
5 people in the category. I win. So then they said, we're going to rescind your Emmy, but we're going to give it to Miss Bassie. Why can't I think of her first name?
The next person with
Was
the
who
most.
got the most votes. And then they said she didn't have it right. They submitted her wrong. Then they went to the next person. Then they went to the next person. There was only one person left. That young man was the only person left in the category. And that old-fashioned thing about they threw the baby out with the bathwater. It was
Wait. I believe it was the 4th person who got the Emmy, which was the blonde-haired gentleman from.
Nobody got the Emmy.
Wait, that's
Nobody.
Who,
They threw the whole thing out, Kevin.
Oh, okay. See, now I'm corrected.
Yeah.
Because I thought that the other one, the one that was left, could never go back into the. None of you could go back into that category again, and that was the argument that people were like.
I can't remember what the argument was, but there were 5 people there. Only one was legitimately, everything passed, everything got there. These people, 4 people weren't. So they ended up throwing it out, which blew the chance for this young man to get an Emmy. Okay?
It was me. No, it wasn't.
But
It was-
but to me, it was unconscionable
Absolutely.
what they did in the first
Absolutely.
place. And after months, if they couldn't vet it properly, and there's still things going on there now. And I will say that I am going to be running for the daytime governor of the TV Academy because I still think there's things between the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences here and the National Academy in New York that need to be fixed.
The only
So
thing
do
that
they talk to each other? Is
They're
there-
they're starting to
starting
talk
to.
more and more together. Thank goodness to Eva Bassler, who is the governor now and has been a governor off and on there, and is a
she
high
did-
mucky muck at Bold
yeah.
and Beautiful. She's wonderful, and we love
She's
her.
lovely,
We love you,
yeah.
Eva. Anyway, so I'm
if I have to
putting
call
my hat
her
in the
Madam
ring.
Governor, it's going to be very.
Oh, I
very-
can't wait. I
That's
wanna
the
be
only
there.
thing I'm going to.
I want to be there for that.
No,
Well, I
think
was
you-
the governor for performers
I
for
think
5
you would
years.
absolutely
So during
rule.
COVID, but so I do have experience in things, and I've also been in daytime. So I think I can bring a lot to the table about tightening things up, but also for me learning about other parts of daytime that might have I can input into or ask about or do things. It's a learning process, and I think the more we learn about things, the better, and the more we try to help one another make it better, it's good.
It just seems like there's so much miscommunication. You know, I've worked the Emmys, the daytime Emmys, on the red carpet from that standpoint.
I remember.
And just from that standpoint, there's so much miscommunication. And it pains me because to me, daytime, you
Is-
can't be just okay in daytime.
No, you have to be-
You have to be solid. You have to be a rock star to be
Well,
in daytime.
they shoot a movie in a year and a half, and
Exactly.
they shoot one episode, which is the same number of pages
Exactly.
in one day.
and it just doesn't, to me, they don't honor.
Well, we're the hardest
The
working.
talent.
We're the hardest working group of performers, actors, and whatever in daytime because that is. Talk about being an athlete. Talk about
Absolutely.
Oh, I think sometimes the performers in daytime get the shaft and are not respected enough because we get 2 takes.
and some
then
people.
moving on, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So
I said the wrong word. Doesn't matter.
It's
And
like
Deidre Hall has been, for whatever reason, they go around her. She's a solid actress. She knows what she's doing. She had it. How many years has she been there? Centuries, days. No, but
No, let's not go that far.
No. But she's. I would watch her.
she's a daytime icon.
Yeah, and I would watch
yes,
her and
no question.
But also Susan.
Susan
Yes.
and Bill.
And God rest Bill, but
Yeah.
Susan is a wonderful actress. I mean, and at least she's still there and getting some great moments and things which are wonderful.
I'm really thankful to see that.
She has to know her words and know what's going on because when you're in that emotional state, you may lose it or something like that. She doesn't get a chance to do another one.
Yeah, and also she lost. She didn't win that year, but Maggie.
Maggie, yeah.
Oh, she's
Suzanne.
an Emmy winner
Suzanne.
already. Suzanne Rogers.
Yes.
She's already an Emmy winner for that. She back in
Former
further
Rockette.
back.
But
Yeah.
she was so
Yes.
great in this continuing storyline that happened with she killed a baby and hit it with the car. I don't know. It wasn't my role, but
My page.
But so you are thinking of running then?
I am. I'm considering running for governor for daytime just for that. I mean, I can
advocacy. We were just talking about that earlier. Please, we need your voice.
Well, I just think I mean, it's important. I think I have a voice to bring to that, and I don't take no for an answer unless you specifically show me why. I mean, nobody should take no. Nobody should ever tell you can't have your dream or to accept a no if you think you know what's going on. As long as you're taking care of yourself, you're being respectful and courteous to the person you're talking to, explaining, as Kevin just did, this song versus this song.
Right.
I'm not going to sing that song because I don't think it's appropriate here.
And it doesn't feel good with me.
Yeah.
How can I get behind it?
This is the father singing to her daughter on the most
they wanted me to
beautiful
sing
day of her life.
On a wonderful day like today. And I was like, that's not going to cut it. I'm not the jazz singer.
No. So it's that kind of fighting for the rights that you believe are better for you. We did a lot of it on camera. We go, excuse me, Nancy would never do that. You need to rework
they're writing
this.
for us. Now, when I came back to come out, when Craig came out. But there is a relative of mine who this actually happened. And I asked to talk to, what was his name? Ron
Cavallari.
And he was the head writer at the time. And he came, first of all, how I knew this was going to happen, because you had gone back on, everyone was starting to go back on. And she kept saying, it's going to be a matter of time. She's going to go back on that show. And I'm sitting on the stage during the Emmys at After Forever, the final win of our 5 record-breaking Emmys. Anyway.
And I want to talk to you about that. So.
But
excuse me, this is my time.
I know.
He came in the back door. Really?
I know.
Really?
I knew the gay joke was the back door. But I remember
it ties into the Television Academy.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm looking at Michael Slade's here presenting the speech, and I just saw all the Days of Our Lives people, and I went, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go back on that show." This is all in my head.
Yeah.
Either I conjured it up or they conjured it up. But I said to Michael as we're walking off stage, I went, "They're going to take me back on the show." He goes, "They are not." I said, "They're going to take me on the show and they're going to have me come out. You watch." Because I had just done the story about coming out, But anyway, I called Ron and I said, "How are you handling this? Because I do not want to look like a doo-doo head to Nancy."
Yeah.
When my relative had come out, I was very proud of him, and I was very... very supportive, but I said, "You better take care of my baby cousin now, because something's taken away that they're not expecting." And I didn't want that to look.
No, there were a couple of things that were written that I hated, but again, here's your salary. Do your words. I would change some things and stuff like that, but.
At the end, we're holding hands.
And basically, the thing is, I will always love you. You're the father of my children.
Yeah.
It was done well. I was really worried.
That part was there. There's a couple making spray painting my hair gray. So like I'd be over here, my hair would be over here, and
soup on my lap. Clam chowder on my lap.
There were some crazy things that were written for comedic things, and others that were written like, "Oh my God, we should have gotten her a wig," kind of thing. So.
I walked on the set and went, "What happened to your hair?" She goes,
No. There was no squeal involved there.
There was no squeal. No squeal involved.
You know you're okay when there's a squeal.
Well, before we wrap up, I know daytime Emmys have done well for After Forever. And so you must be looking forward
I think for season 1 and 2, there was a wonderful... wonderful time to celebrate the show. We are very popular. After Forever is now in its 3rd season. But in between season 2 and us being able to make season 3, there was a pandemic. There were 2 strikes. There was a reboot of the pandemic. The COVID went around again. So we had to wait until it was crystal clear, safe to go back to New York and film this show as it is, which by that time they had taken away the category of short form on daytime.
Oh, they were working. Yeah, daytime was different.
Right.
Yeah.
The creative arts was we're going to have a short form category.
Uh-huh.
So they moved that away, and guess what they did? They took us. They said, hop over to primetime. What's the number one rule? You can't start in primetime and go to daytime, and you can't start in daytime and go to primetime. That's their rule.
That's their rule.
But they
like
don't-
I said, suddenly things got changed there. Some people suddenly, anyway.
And when I had to look at this for season 3, I had to actually study. We couldn't go up for best actor, outstanding actor, supporting actor, actress, supporting actress, director, writer, producing, and whatever, editing and all that stuff. You only got to be the show, and you only got to be a performer. And now we were going to go up against, the short, limited series, comedy or drama. What's his name? Carpool Karaoke.
Oh, right.
The big,
Which is not what short form was created
yeah.
for.
No.
And
Yeah.
now it's a limited series. So I said, why would I put thousands and thousands of dollars into the pocket of the Academy? This is before season 3. To get that one award possibility. It just didn't fit, didn't feel right. So I don't know who found out or who found the way in, but there is a loophole that we found ourselves being able to go back into daytime.
Okay.
So I'm not going to explain it, but we had to qualify by running, having a set and a studio. So what
does this mean?
So I had a studio in New York. It was the apartment that we shot in for all 3 seasons. I had released the series, the 8 episodes on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just like a soap would. And there's a couple other little things. Each episode had to be 15 minutes or more, no less than 15 minutes. And that was basically saying we are a serial daytime.
This is one reason I'm running for governor.
Yeah, and this is very important. Streaming is anytime. But now, because there's so much streaming content, if you chose to put yourself into the daytime race, which we did, because that's where I was from with the show, Michael was too, we couldn't see ourselves in prime time. So now we have got this ready to be, all the reels. There's like 12 entries we're making. The whole show, actors and everything. How did the phone call go? The Academy calls me early on a Thursday morning, says, Kevin, we have to talk to you. There's something wrong with your entries. And I went, what's wrong? Well, we have to disqualify after forever because you have an MA rating, which is a mature audience only. And I said, well, tough luck. Why do we have to drop out? Well, it's just that no one in daytime has this rating. I said, I didn't put that rating on there. We put it on the Vimeo. That was our home this year.
Mm-hmm.
By the time After Forever was acquired by Prime, all hell broke loose. And I just went, you've got to be serious. Are you kidding me? Isn't there a way to petition? And I called you and I said, who's like the people to talk to? And they'll lead you to the person. I don't know. I talked to someone. I talked to Rachel Schwartz. And 2 days later, they came back with this. After careful consideration, we still can't. And I went, well, that just proves the point. I knew you guys wouldn't fix this problem, but I was hopeful that you would have found a solution for all the people who had been kicked out because of this MA rating. I said, how dare you? Shame on you for moving the goalpost.
And that's it.
Patrika.
They change the rules midstream and do things like that. And I don't, Kevin just said, who gave me an MA rating? And if you're looking at the Bay, which had some problems for me, they're in the jungle. They're shooting in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Oh, there's people being strangled.
And
there's people being raped.
I mean,
Abortions.
naked scenes and stuff like that. But they're still allowed to do stuff. And then you think about it. Daytime is a little bit mature audiences stuff, even though kids grow up watching it because it's like, shut up, this is my hour and I don't want to hear anything.
And then they told me that they could bleep the words if it was too, like, if there was a fuck or a whatever it was.
No, you go silently.
Yeah. But they would bleep it out. And I said, you have totally taken down any respect or confidence that I ever had in the Academy. And
That just breaks my heart.
I swore that I would never,
Because
ever.
daytime deserves better.
Well, it's just, I think actors, performers, writers, directors, all of these people need, eliminate this kind of show for creative. Say, but it's okay if it goes over to primetime, but you've eliminated 3/4 of the people that deserve an Emmy.
Right.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah. And
this is ridiculous. And soap operas in general are MAs. I mean, when you have people hopping in bed that aren't married together and you're seeing nakedness, and I'm telling you, the first time he climbed in bed with me with just a sock on, I about had apoplexy. 2 dogs are jumping on the bed and he's naked.
I'm still wearing it.
Thank you so much. But it's that kind of thing. It is mature audiences. I mean, that's the point where a lot of the heavier storylines were when school wasn't on.
Sure.
Right.
But
The thing that I was really most upset about, and I don't know how it's going to resolve. I mean, we are not in the race. They started voting already yesterday. We were told at the beginning of this year, of this season, that network would go down one list and then streaming would go down the side list, side by side. And when they decided with the amount of entries they were getting, we're just going to put it all together. And I have to say, I was glad about that. I was glad because I think daytime needs a boost up anyway. And I think after Forever, the final season was looked upon as well written. It won writing twice. It won soap twice, and it looks good. And it was short and succinct and right there in front of you. And it's about a subject matter that we all go through. So I think there could be some.
There'll be some changes made, we hope.
Yeah,
Isn't that a song?
There you go. The one thing for me about this is that in primetime, the category for which I won for it, the current governor, Kim Estes, won short form.
I adore Kim. He's fabulous.
He's the best. And the thing that happened there is short form is being deleted in primetime because there are not enough entries.
That's right.
Okay. Now, they started it themselves by going, ooh, we don't like this show. It's not worthy. This show, okay, art is subjective, and I always refrain that. Like Picasso has a boob here and a boob here.
Right.
Mine are right here. Art is subjective. As a performer, when I'm doing things, how I perceive it is different than how you might perceive it. And to have a group decide your work is horrible, your work is good.
And the people who decide to vote or to judge is completely different daytime than it is at night.
Mm-hmm.
Prime
Absolutely.
time, you get a list of people. Well, that's Patrika. I know her. I'll vote for her.
Yeah,
I have to see her.
That's unfortunate. Sometimes I think.
It's unfortunate for you, but I'm just saying, the person
no,
you're
honey,
going to.
It's kind of in everything. It's like, and that's why Primetime instituted the rule because there was an actress that was on for less than 25 seconds that won Best Supporting Actress because everybody knew who she was and liked her work. They eliminated it, and they call it the rule of her. And I'm not going to go there, but
And in daytime, you have to watch a certain amount of content before you can turn it off and vote. And I think when you are given the road map to this is what's out there, this is what you're seeing, and this is what we're focusing on so you can make a decision, I think that's fair.
I did. It used to be better. I mean, when I first started voting and doing things for the Academy back in the dark ages, we would go to a big hotel. We'd have breakfast in the morning, and then we'd be assigned to different rooms in the hotel. And there would be like 6 or 7 people, and we watched everything. You could have no discussion about it or anything. You'd walk out of there, you knew who you were.
It was like
that
court.
stuff is done. And you met afterwards. There's a lot of camaraderie, people talking about stuff, going, I shouldn't really say this, and then you go, no, don't, right? This movie, don't. Anyway, but now it's all at home. And basically, you can do this. Okay, I'll put on this actress.
Don't say it.
Well, I'm going to. You push this button, and you walk in the other room, and you get yourself a glass of iced tea, and they come back, and they're done. Okay, next one. I watch that. Really? And most of the celebrities on primetime television, the major show people, are members because their producers sign them up, and they get, once they're a member, they get a free submission. So that's better for the producers. But at the same time, we send them ballots. They don't vote.
Yeah,
most of the time they go to the managers or the agents, and they get tossed in the trash, or the secretary does the voting for Netflix instead of Netflix's stars voting for themselves.
I know. We could talk about this for another hour, and I want to at some point.
Yeah.
I think
I would love to dedicate a show to talking
Let's
about
do it.
Do
how,
it.
I'll
how
support
we
you.
can support the community, the daytime community, because, yay for Beyond the Gates. We've got, 5 shows now, 5 daytime shows.
3 on CBS.
Right?
What the hell's
So-
wrong with and one on
I
ABC
know.
and NBC's. Let's put on
So there's that small
reality.
win. There's that small win, but there's so much that needs to be addressed
Right.
and talked about and supported and fixed.
they were excited that there was streaming shows that were coming from England this year.
Right.
I think they've been, because of the content, because of the mature rating. The only thing about, the one thing that I'm really sore about is that the Emmy race is fun. You cast your stuff out there. You let people know that you are out there. It's
And where you can watch me.
That's right.
You
Yeah.
never say vote for me because that's not illegal
Yeah.
and it's not wrong. But please look at my work and
Yeah.
consider.
But it's keeping current.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I call
Powers
them
that be.
powers that be. I don't know what they were thinking, but they didn't think to help it elsewhere, even if they couldn't fix the one problem.
Right.
And that to me was, wow.
Do you know the Indie Series Awards?
Yes.
Okay, they weren't this year because there was
Again.
one of the people running it. This is the first year they didn't have it, Kevin, because of
I know,
Jamie's cancer. But anyway, which it'll come back. But they have multiple entries that come not just from here in the United States, from all over the world. Emma Thompson did one in Australia and was in there and got submitted. Now,
After Forever is because she dragged me to an ISA award show in New York. I didn't know what the hell I was going to see. And I went, this shit's great.
the work is unbelievable. But the daytimes, the Emmys, which is the biggest award on television, can't get enough submissions.
Yeah.
That's BS. So I mean, come on. It's not. It's and the creative arts should be about encouraging new and young people
Exactly.
coming up.
Yeah.
And doing stuff. And when you have, and I'm sorry, Mr. Corden, to do this, but when you have a primetime show that you're doing, and suddenly they move the cameras over here on your 15-minute break and shoot you singing in a car, can beat out some actor or actress or producer, director, writer who has busted their hoo-ha and raised enough money to shoot a quality show.
Who's raised money to shoot a quality show.
Turn it in popsicle pop bottles.
And the other
Anyway.
thing too was, and I'll just wrap up this part with After Forever, is that to do daytime, if you're a producer, if we're all producers and we win and your name is on the credits as producer, guess what you get to go home with? You get to get your little Emmy. When
And in prime time, you don't always like that.
No.
But other people get
you
certificate.
get 3 people. Only 3 is the new ruling on the short form.
Yeah.
And I went, I've got 27. I'm not going to. Who am I going to choose? Me?
Of course.
Michael? Allison?
Of course. Choose me. And the best part of it is when the voting goes on, you can't vote for yourself in prime
This
time.
year you can't do
Your
that.
name isn't even on your ballot when you get to vote. And I called up and said, why isn't my name here?
Right.
They said, because you're not allowed to vote for yourself. I said, oh, okay. I just want to make sure you didn't forget me. Anyway, so.
It's really upside down, and it really is an unfortunate situation. And I'm sure this lady will get it going and organized.
I'm really excited, actually.
I'm hoping that my fellow peers will consider me for the thing when I turn in all my paperwork, which I'm probably going to get 40 people to help me on so that I don't do anything wrong and can't be thrown out.
Double check and double check.
Yeah, it's but After Forever is still out there, season 3.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a season 4.
Well,
Would you work it out, please?
Yes. We're going to put it on your shoulders, Patrika.
I just think
Her boobs, her shoulders, and her.
I just think for all performers, writers, directors, producers, need to get together. There's so many young people coming up. I mean, this facility, they were, oh my God, I look horrible. Anyway, so I should never have looked. We need to create more.
We need to come together.
Come
and
together
we need to be given
and
opportunity.
realize that the future of the Academy is based on new, young talent coming up. In
Absolutely.
every category.
Yeah.
in every there's 61 governors of the TV Academy, of different the producers, writers, directors, cameramen, makeup, hair, costumes, all that is there. We need to encourage new young ones coming up.
We need to speak the same communication and language
Absolutely.
across the board. Oh, we got to wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Goodbye, everybody. I'm
Before
so
we,
sorry that he snuck in the back door and stole
We're
my life.
locking
It was
the
not-
doors
But I-
next time.
It was. Get your hands out of my
It
face.
was. So here's the thing. She said, "What are you doing today? A little surprise for Patrika?" I said, "No." No, I did. And
Then she offered him money, and he came.
money.
Checks in the mail, babe.
No, but I said I'm going to wear something that we were given a great opportunity to come together. There's no mistake about that, and I'm grateful for it.
And we've become friends, and it's been since, what's 25 years now we've been close friends, I think.
1997.
Yeah.
Now, you all know how to find each other. Where can people find you, Mr. Kevin? On the socials.
Third and Vine.
On your lap. No. I'm on Insta. It's Kevin Spiritus, at Kevin Spiritus, and at After Forever, the series, and
1-800-9.
you know what? I'm supposed to know that stuff, but I've been out of it. I've been away from it. I was working as a showrunner, and then I was.
For me, wait, it's my turn.
I know. It's gonna say, go.
For my fans
Your
and
publicist
everything
is
like
sitting
this.
over there too,
First of
by the
all, I'm technically challenged, but Darbo Patrika is me on Instagram. Patrika Darbo on Facebook. Whoever is Patrika A. Darbo, get off. Cancel this stuff. I can't get in there because they want a password. I don't know who you are. I can't stop it. Anyway, and then you can always contact my PR person, Anthony Turk. And
Where is he?
Yes.
Where is he?
where is he? He's hiding over here going, you talk too much. Then why did you let Kevin come talk to you like this? You should.
Patrika, do you have anything coming up?
Unemployment. No. I do have a commercial running. That's
that's
me.
right.
Dunking, that's
That's
me
right.
dunking,
The
dunking
chicken.
chicken
The
there.
chicken commercial.
Last year I got another one that I've had 3
Flying.
Super
You've
Bowl
been-
commercials.
oh my
So
God.
I
they've
love that
saved me.
commercial.
However, I've got to close it with this. Hello, my union. I'm a retired senior on a pension from SAG and from AFTRA. I made over $100,000. They were in residuals, so I do not qualify for any kind of insurance. But I've probably paid for soon new and upcoming people. But I get to pay dues on everything I earn. Something is wrong
We're
there.
getting the X-Nay Amscray from
I do have a movie coming out called Lulu because he runs everything, which is
Lulu?
a beautiful gay story.
Gay?
Yeah, I play a nun. Anyway, but I'm a nice nun. Anthony's always telling me, my nuns growing up were horrible, horrible people. Anyway.
I play with nunchucks.
No, I'm just a plain, sweet, nice, understanding, loyal
Where's
nun.
that coming out? Where is it?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
They're in the progress. They just sent me notices of when things are going to start, PR, blah, 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 blah.
You fly.
So anyway. No.
Keep us notified, please.
Yes.
June. All right. Keep
June
us
is best
notified.
man.
So I
See,
want to.
I'm technically, I
wanna
can't answer
say-
it. He's in charge over here.
I want to say, you, the podcast listeners, the podcast viewers, because we'll be out on both video and audio. Just want to thank you so much for joining the mayhem today.
Oh my God, this is mayhem. But it's good looking
Kevin
mayhem.
Spiritus and obviously Patrika Darbo, who is such a joy and such a light in this industry. And we want to thank you for joining us. This has been a JLJ Media production. Until we meet again.